Chapter 1, An Unexpected Inheritance. Alice had always led a simple, predictable life in her quiet village. Every day, she followed the same routine, waking up at dawn, tending to her small garden, and then spending her afternoons at the local library where she worked as a librarian. Her evenings were spent with a cup of tea and a good book, her loyal cat, Whiskers, purring contentedly at her feet. It was a peaceful life, if somewhat uneventful, and Alice had grown comfortable in its familiarity. One crisp autumn morning, as she was sorting through a stack of newly arrived books, a letter arrived for Alice. This in itself was unusual, as she rarely received any mail, save for the occasional postcard from distant relatives or book club notifications. The envelope was old and yellowed, the kind one might find in a dusty attic or hidden away in a forgotten drawer. Her name was written in an elegant, flowing script that she did not recognize. Curiosity piqued, Alice carefully opened the envelope and pulled out a single sheet of parchment. As she read the contents, her heart began to race. The letter was from a solicitor in a distant city, informing her that she was the sole heir to an estate left by a great-uncle she had never met. The great-uncle, Henry Whittaker, was a name she had heard only in passing during family gatherings, a mysterious figure who had left home at a young age and never returned. According to the letter, Henry had been an eccentric inventor who had amassed a considerable fortune over the years. His estate, a grand old mansion located in the countryside, was now hers. Alice could hardly believe her eyes. How could it be that she, a simple village librarian, had inherited such a treasure? The letter instructed her to contact the solicitor to arrange a visit to the mansion and finalize the legalities of the inheritance. Alice felt a mix of emotions, excitement, confusion, and a hint of fear. The idea of leaving her quiet life behind, even temporarily, was daunting. But the thought of adventure, of stepping into the unknown and uncovering the secrets of her great-uncle's life, was irresistibly compelling. With a deep breath, she resolved to take the journey. She would visit the mansion and discover what lay in store for her. The next few days were a blur of preparations. Alice informed her employer at the library of her unexpected trip and made arrangements for a neighbor to look after Whiskers. She packed a small suitcase with essentials, trying to imagine what she might need in a place she had never seen. As the day of her departure approached, she found it increasingly difficult to focus on her daily tasks, her mind constantly wandering to thoughts of the mansion and the mysteries it held. Finally, the day arrived. Alice boarded a train that would take her to the distant city, her heart pounding with anticipation. The journey was long, the scenery gradually shifting from bustling towns to rolling hills and dense forests. As the train chugged along, Alice found herself staring out the window, her mind filled with questions. Who was Henry Whittaker, really? What had he invented? And why had he chosen her, of all people, to inherit his estate? When the train pulled into the station, Alice was greeted by a stern-looking man in a dark suit, who introduced himself as Mr. Thompson, the solicitor mentioned in the letter. He escorted her to a waiting car, and together they drove through winding country roads until they reached the mansion. Alice's breath caught in her throat as the car turned into a long, tree-lined driveway, revealing the sprawling estate at the end. The mansion was grander than she had imagined, its stone facade and tall windows exuding an air of faded elegance. Mr. Thompson led her inside, where the air was thick with the scent of old wood and leather. The interior was filled with antique furniture, dusty portraits, and curious contraptions that hinted at Henry's inventive genius. As they made their way through the labyrinthine halls, Alice's sense of wonder grew. She had stepped into a different world, one that held countless stories waiting to be discovered. In a room lined with shelves overflowing with books and blueprints, Mr. Thompson handed Alice a key. "This," he said, "is the key to your new life. Welcome to Whittaker Manor, Miss Alice. Your great-uncle left you more than just an estate. He left you a legacy. It is now up to you to uncover its secrets and continue his work, should you choose to do so." Alice stood in the grand hall, the key heavy in her hand, and felt a surge of determination. She had been given an extraordinary opportunity, a chance to step beyond the boundaries of her ordinary life and embark on an adventure. With a deep breath, she resolved to embrace the unknown and discover what mysteries awaited her in Whitaker Manor. Chapter 2: The Secret of the Compass. That night, under the soft glow of his desk lamp, Sebastian held the compass as if it were a sacred text. The symbols etched upon its surface were not mere markings but a language, a code that spoke of ancient knowledge and forgotten magic. The compass was warm to the touch, as if it contained a heartbeat, a pulse that quickened as he held it. He traced the symbols with his fingers, feeling a tingling sensation that seemed to connect with his own heartbeat. The needle, which had been still, began to move, almost as if it were alive, responding to an unseen force. It spun wildly, defying the laws of magnetism, before settling on a direction that was not north, south, east, or west, but something else entirely. Sebastian felt a pull, a calling that he could not ignore. It was as if the compass was not just showing him a direction but opening a door to a destiny that had been waiting for him. With a sense of purpose that he had never known before, he made a decision that would change his life forever. He would follow the compass. Chapter 3: The Journey Begins. The next morning, as the city slowly woke to the sound of traffic and the chatter of early risers, Sebastian set off on his journey. He packed a bag with essentials, a compass that was more than a compass, a journal to record his adventures, a few changes of clothes, and a pocketful of dreams. The compass led him through the familiar streets of London, past the landmarks that he had walked by countless times but had never truly seen. It guided him to the edge of the city, where the skyscrapers gave way to the green expanse of the countryside. The air was fresher here, the sounds different, the rustling of leaves, the distant chirping of birds, the quiet hum of the earth itself. As he walked, the city receded into the background, and the world opened up before him. The compass led him along winding paths, through fields of golden wheat, and over streams that sparkled like ribbons of light. He felt a sense of freedom that he had never experienced before, as if he were shedding the layers of his old life with every step. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing day, Sebastian felt more alive. He traversed forests that whispered secrets of the earth, crossed rivers that sang songs of the ages, and climbed mountains that touched the sky. Along the way, he met people who would become part of his story, travelers with tales of their own, wise elders who shared their wisdom, and children who reminded him of the innocence and wonder of the world. Chapter 4: The Hidden Village. Guided by the compass's enigmatic pull, Sebastian found himself at the threshold of a dense forest, its canopy a verdant ceiling that shielded the village from the outside world. The path was narrow and winding, a secret trail known only to those who sought it with purpose. As he ventured deeper, the forest's whispers grew louder, the rustling leaves and creaking branches seeming to speak in hushed tones of the visitor who had come to their midst. The village was a tapestry of ancient wisdom and time-honored traditions, hidden from the modern world by more than just geography. Its inhabitants lived in harmony with nature, their homes crafted from the forest's own materials, blending seamlessly into the landscape. The villagers welcomed Sebastian with warm smiles and open arms, their curiosity matched only by their hospitality. In the village's heart stood a grand hall, its walls adorned with murals depicting the history and legends of their people. It was here that Sebastian was introduced to the Secret Society, a group of scholars and protectors dedicated to preserving the world's ancient knowledge and artifacts. Their eyes held the weight of centuries, and their words carried the echoes of forgotten truths. Sebastian learned that his great-uncle Archibald had been a revered member of this society, a man whose adventures had been the stuff of village lore. The compass, it seemed, was more than a mere heirloom, it was a legacy, a beacon that had chosen Sebastian to carry on Archibald's unfinished quest. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the village in a soft, golden glow, Sebastian felt a profound sense of belonging. He was not just a visitor here, he was a part of something greater, a thread in the tapestry of a legacy that spanned generations. And as he sat by the fireside, listening to the stories of the village elders, he knew that his journey was only just beginning. Chapter 5, The Guardian's Mission. Elara, the village elder, was a figure of both mystery and wisdom. Her eyes, as deep as the cosmos, seemed to hold the secrets of the universe within their depths. As she spoke to Sebastian, her voice was like the gentle rustle of leaves in the wind, carrying with it the weight of ages and the urgency of her message. The Crystal of Eternity, she explained, was an artifact of immense power, a relic that had been safeguarded by the village for generations. It was said to contain the essence of time itself, a force that, if fallen into the wrong hands, could bring about untold chaos. The theft by the dark sorcerer Malachar was a catastrophe that threatened not just the village, but the very fabric of the world. Sebastian listened intently as Elara described the compass's role in this dire situation. It was not a mere navigational tool, but a key to unlocking the crystal's protective seal. The compass was attuned to 3 otherworldly keys, each hidden in locations known only to the guardians of the village. These keys were the only means to access the crystal and restore balance to the world. The journey to retrieve the keys would be fraught with peril, Elara warned. Each key was protected by trials that tested not just the body, but the spirit and the soul. Sebastian would need to draw upon all his courage, his intellect, and the lessons he had learned from the village to succeed. As the elder's words echoed through the hall, Sebastian felt a surge of determination. He had come this far, following the compass's mysterious pull, and he would not turn back now. He was the heir to Archibald's legacy, and it was his duty to protect the world from the darkness that threatened it. With a nod of acceptance, Sebastian committed himself to the mission. He would seek out the Whispering Caves, Echo Isle, and the Frozen Peaks, overcoming whatever challenges lay in his path. And as he prepared to embark on the next stage of his journey, the compass in his hand seemed to pulse with anticipation, as if it too was eager for the adventures that awaited. Chapter 6, The First Key, The Whispering Caves. Sebastian's journey to the Whispering Caves was a test of both his physical endurance and mental fortitude. The caves were nestled deep within the heart of an ancient mountain range, shrouded in a perpetual twilight that seemed to echo with the whispers of ages past. The path to the caves was treacherous, a winding trail that clung to the side of the mountain, with sheer drops that fell away into the abyss below. As he approached the entrance of the caves, the air grew colder, and a palpable sense of unease settled around him. The whispers that gave the caves their names seemed to grow louder, their voices a cacophony of sound that both drew him in and set his nerves on edge. The compass in his hand glowed softly, its light a beacon in the growing darkness, guiding him through the labyrinthine passages. Inside the caves, Sebastian encountered illusions that played upon his deepest fears and doubts. Phantoms of past failures and shadows of self-doubt materialized before him, their voices taunting and insidious. Yet, with each challenge, Sebastian's resolve only grew stronger. He faced his fears head-on, refusing to let them deter him from his path. The trials of the caves were not just of the mind, but also of the body. He navigated through narrow passages that twisted and turned, climbed over jagged rocks, and traversed across precarious ledges. The compass led him through a maze of deception, where every shadow held a potential trap and every echo a possible lure away from his true course. At the heart of the Whispering Caves, Sebastian found the first key. It was a gemstone of exquisite beauty, its surface carved with intricate patterns that seemed to capture the essence of the cave's whispers. The stone radiated a calming light, its soft glow pushing back the darkness and the whispers, offering a moment of peace amidst the chaos. As he held the gemstone, Sebastian felt a connection to the caves and their guardians, a sense of understanding that transcended words. The key was more than a physical object, it was a symbol of his triumph over the trials, a testament to his courage and determination. With the first key in his possession, Sebastian knew that the true journey had only just begun, and he was ready to face whatever lay ahead. Chapter 7, The Second Key, Echo Isle. Echo Isle was a place of ethereal beauty and enigmatic resonance. It was an island shrouded in perpetual mist, where the air was thick with the echoes of a harmonious symphony that seemed to play in the very fabric of the world. As Sebastian's boat cut through the fog, the notes of this silent music grew louder, more distinct, until they were a melody that guided him to the heart of the island. The island was home to a tribe of people who had long since abandoned the spoken word in favor of a language of music and sound. Their voices, when they sang, were like the notes of a grand orchestra, each individual a vital instrument in the composition of their communal song. The tribe greeted Sebastian with a chorus that was both welcoming and inquisitive, their melodies weaving around him like tendrils of mist. To earn the second key, Sebastian had to prove his understanding of harmony and balance. The tribe set before him a series of musical trials, each one a test of his ability to synchronize with their unique form of communication. He listened intently to the rhythms and melodies, learning to discern the subtle nuances that conveyed meaning and emotion. The trials were not merely about mimicking the sounds, but about feeling the vibrations that resonated through the island. Sebastian felt the earth beneath his feet, the air against his skin, and the water lapping at the shore, all in sync with the tribe's song. He learned to attune his own voice to the natural symphony, his notes blending seamlessly with the music of the island. In the final trial, Sebastian was tasked with composing a melody that would resonate with the tribe's heart and soul. He closed his eyes, letting the sensations of echo all guide his voice. When he sang, it was with a purity and sincerity that touched the tribe deeply. His song was a testament to the harmony he had found within himself and with the world around him. The tribe, moved by Sebastian's performance, bestowed upon him the second key, a silver harp that seemed to embody the essence of the island's music. As he plucked its strings, the harp emitted enchanting melodies that echoed the island's song, a perfect blend of human artistry and natural magic. With the second key secured, Sebastian felt a deepening connection to the world and its many forms of communication. He understood that the power of music was not just in the notes but in the stories they told and the emotions they evoked. As he left Echo Isle, the compass in his hand pulsed with a new rhythm, guiding him towards the next stage of his quest. Chapter 8, The Third Key, The Frozen Peaks. The frozen peaks were a realm of ice and stone, where the air was so thin it seemed to steal the breath from one's lungs. Sebastian's journey to this harsh and unforgiving landscape was a grueling test of his physical strength and mental resolve. The mountain range rose like a wall of glittering spires, their icy surfaces reflecting the pale light of the distant sun. As he ascended, the cold bit at his skin, and the wind howled through the passes like a living creature, challenging his every step. The climb was treacherous, with ice-covered cliffs and crevasses that lay in wait to claim the unwary. Yet, Sebastian pressed on, his determination fueled by the knowledge that the third key lay somewhere in these desolate heights. The frozen peaks were not only a physical barrier but also a spiritual one. The guardian who resided in the hidden temple at the highest peak was said to be a being of pure essence, one who could see into the heart of a person and judge their worthiness. Sebastian knew that to reach the guardian and claim the third key, he would have to prove his resolve and the purity of his intentions. Upon reaching the temple, Sebastian was met with a series of trials that pushed him to his limits. He faced the biting cold, the isolation of the high altitude, and the relentless wind that sought to drive him back down the mountain. Each challenge was a reflection of his inner strength, a test of whether his will could withstand the harshest of conditions. Inside the temple, Sebastian encountered the guardian, an ancient being whose eyes were like ice crystals, clear and piercing. The guardian did not speak but communicated through the very air around them, the wind carrying the weight of their questions and the silence demanding Sebastian's truth. Sebastian stood before the guardian, his heart open and his spirit bared. He spoke of his journey, his purpose, and the lessons he had learned. His words were carried on the chill air, and as he spoke, the guardian's gaze softened, the ice in their eyes melting into a reflection of understanding. With a nod of approval, the guardian presented Sebastian with the third key, a crystal that shimmered with an inner light, its facets reflecting the myriad colors of the aurora. The crystal was cold to the touch, yet it seemed to hold within it the very essence of the frozen peaks, a testament to the endurance and purity of spirit required to claim it. As Sebastian held the crystal, he felt a connection to the guardian and the peaks, a sense of unity with the elemental forces that shaped this realm. With the third key in his possession, he knew that he was one step closer to fulfilling his mission, and as he descended from the temple, the compass in his hand glowed with a new intensity, leading him towards the final confrontation. Chapter 8, The Third Key, The Frozen Peaks. The frozen peaks were a realm of ice and stone, where the air was so thin it seemed to steal the breath from one's lungs. Sebastian's journey to this harsh and unforgiving landscape was a grueling test of his physical strength and mental resolve. The mountain range rose like a wall of glittering spires, their icy surfaces reflecting the pale light of the distant sun. As he ascended, the cold bit at his skin, and the wind howled through the passes like a living creature, challenging his every step. The climb was treacherous, with ice-covered cliffs and crevasses that lay in wait to claim the unwary. Yet, Sebastian pressed on, his determination fueled by the knowledge that the third key lay somewhere in these desolate heights. The frozen peaks were not only a physical barrier but also a spiritual one. The guardian who resided in the hidden temple at the highest peak was said to be a being of pure essence, one who could see into the heart of a person and judge their worthiness. Sebastian knew that to reach the guardian and claim the third key, he would have to prove his resolve and the purity of his intentions. Upon reaching the temple, Sebastian was met with a series of trials that pushed him to his limits. He faced the biting cold, the isolation of the high altitude, and the relentless wind that sought to drive him back down the mountain. Each challenge was a reflection of his inner strength, a test of whether his will could withstand the harshest of conditions. Inside the temple, Sebastian encountered the guardian, an ancient being whose eyes were like ice crystals, clear and piercing. The guardian did not speak but communicated through the very air around them, the wind carrying the weight of their questions and the silence demanding Sebastian's truth. Sebastian stood before the guardian, his heart open and his spirit bared. He spoke of his journey, his purpose, and the lessons he had learned. His words were carried on the chill air, and as he spoke, the guardian's gaze softened, the ice in their eyes melting into a reflection of understanding. With a nod of approval, the guardian presented Sebastian with the third key, a crystal that shimmered with an inner light, its facets reflecting the myriad colors of the aurora. The crystal was cold to the touch, yet it seemed to hold within it the very essence of the frozen peaks, a testament to the endurance and purity of spirit required to claim it. As Sebastian held the crystal, he felt a connection to the guardian and the peaks, a sense of unity with the elemental forces that shaped this realm. With the third key in his possession, he knew that he was one step closer to fulfilling his mission, and as he descended from the temple, the compass in his hand glowed with a new intensity, leading him towards the final confrontation. Chapter 9: The Final Confrontation. With the three keys in his possession, Sebastian's journey led him to the lair of Malachar, the dark sorcerer who had stolen the Crystal of Eternity. The fortress of Malachar was a monstrous structure, its dark stone walls rising from the depths of a shadowy valley, shrouded in ominous clouds that seemed to writhe with malevolence. The air was heavy with the scent of impending danger, and the sky above was a canvas of brooding storm clouds, reflecting the turmoil that lay ahead. As Sebastian approached the fortress gates, he could feel the malevolent energy that emanated from within. The compass in his hand pulsed with a fierce light, its glow a beacon of hope amidst the darkness that sought to consume him. He knew that within these walls, he would face the culmination of his journey, a battle that would determine the fate of the Crystal of Eternity and the world itself. Inside the fortress, Sebastian encountered a labyrinth of chambers and corridors, each one a trap set by Malachar to deter intruders. The sorcerer's magic was etched into the very stones, creating illusions that twisted reality and tested Sebastian's resolve. He moved through the shadows, his senses heightened, his mind clear and focused on the task at hand. The challenges within the fortress were not just physical but also psychological. Malachar's magic sought to unravel Sebastian's mind, to sow seeds of doubt and fear. But Sebastian was prepared. He had faced his fears in the Whispering Caves, found harmony in Echo Isle, and proven his resolve in the Frozen Peaks. Each trial had forged him, made him stronger, and now he stood ready to confront the source of the darkness. Finally, Sebastian came face to face with Malachar in the heart of the fortress. The sorcerer was a towering figure, his eyes burning with a dark fire that mirrored the chaos within. He wielded the Crystal of Eternity with a cruel mastery, its power distorting the air around him. The battle that ensued was a clash of wills and magic. Sebastian drew upon the power of the keys, the gemstone, the silver harp, and the shimmering crystal, each resonating with the lessons he had learned. He fought with the courage of one who had faced his deepest fears, the wisdom of one who had embraced harmony, and the endurance of one who had conquered the harshest elements. In the end, it was not just Sebastian's strength that triumphed, but also his heart. He understood that the true power of the keys was not in their physical form but in the virtues they represented. With a final, decisive move, Sebastian outwitted Malachar, using the sorcerer's own arrogance against him. The crystal of eternity was his, and with it, the power to restore balance to the world. As Sebastian emerged from the fortress, the clouds that had once loomed threateningly began to dissipate, replaced by a clear sky and the promise of a new dawn. He knew that his victory was not just over Malachar, but over the darkness within himself. The enchanted compass, now a symbol of his extraordinary journey, remained with him, a guide to the adventures that were yet to come. Chapter 10: The Return. With the crystal of eternity reclaimed, Sebastian embarked on his return journey to the hidden village, a pilgrimage not just of distance, but of transformation. The path that had once been a mere trail through the wilderness was now a canvas of memories, each step resonating with the trials he had overcome and the wisdom he had gained. The village, when it came into view, was a sight to behold, its tranquility a stark contrast to the turmoil he had left behind. The villagers, upon recognizing Sebastian, greeted him with a celebration that was both jubilant and reverent. Their cheers echoed through the valley, a testament to the hero who had ventured into the heart of darkness and returned, not just victorious, but transformed. Elara, the wise elder, conducted a ceremony of profound significance, her hands weaving ancient symbols in the air as she sealed the crystal's power, ensuring it would never again fall into malevolent hands. The ritual was a dance of light and shadow, a symphony of the old magic that bound the village to its guardian spirits. Sebastian felt a deep sense of belonging as he stood among the villagers. He was no longer the ordinary young man from London. He had been reborn as a true adventurer, his soul forged in the crucible of his journey. The lessons he had learned, the bonds he had formed, and the artifacts he had collected were now a part of him, a legacy that he carried with pride. In the days that followed, Sebastian shared his tales of adventure with the villagers, who listened with a mixture of awe and admiration. He spoke of the whispering caves, Echo Isle, and the frozen peaks, of the keys he had found and the battles he had fought. His stories were a bridge between his experiences and theirs, a shared narrative that wove the fabric of their community even tighter. As the sun set on the day of the ceremony, Sebastian stood atop a hill overlooking the village, the enchanted compass in his hand. It glowed softly, as if in recognition of the journey's end and the beginning of a new chapter. He knew that his life would never be the same, and he welcomed the change with open arms. For he was now a guardian of ancient wisdom, a mentor to those who would follow in his footsteps, and a beacon of hope for the village and the world beyond. Chapter 11: A New Beginning. Sebastian's decision to remain in the village was not one of rest but of continued growth and purpose. The village, once a mere waypoint on his journey, had become his sanctuary, a place where he could delve deeper into the mysteries he had encountered and the artifacts he had collected. The days were filled with learning and teaching. Sebastian spent hours with the village elders, delving into the ancient tomes and scrolls that held the knowledge of generations. He studied the intricacies of the enchanted compass, the calming light of the gemstone, the harmonious melodies of the silver harp, and the shimmering essence of the crystal. Each artifact was a gateway to a deeper understanding of the world's magic and the delicate balance that kept it intact. As he immersed himself in the village's lore, Sebastian also shared his own experiences and the wisdom he had gained. He became a mentor to the younger villagers, imparting the lessons of courage, harmony, and endurance. His tales of adventure sparked a sense of wonder and inspired a new generation to seek their own paths, to explore the unknown, and to protect the world's hidden treasures. The enchanted forest, with its magical flora and fauna, became a living classroom. Sebastian guided the villagers through its paths, teaching them to recognize the signs of the natural world, to respect its power, and to harness its magic. He showed them how to communicate with the woodland sprites and how to navigate the forest's magical obstacles, turning each challenge into an opportunity for learning and growth. In the evenings, the village would gather around the fire, where Sebastian would recount the stories of his journey. His voice, seasoned with the echoes of his adventures, would weave tales that transported the villagers to distant lands and mythical battles. The enchanted compass, resting beside him, seemed to vibrate with the rhythm of his words, as if reliving the journey alongside him. As time passed, Sebastian's bond with the village and its people deepened. He became a guardian not only of the ancient knowledge and artifacts but also of the spirit of adventure that now pulsed through the community. The enchanted compass, a symbol of his extraordinary journey, remained a constant companion, its magic a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. The village, once a hidden refuge, began to flourish as a center of knowledge and adventure. Word of Sebastian's exploits spread far and wide, attracting scholars, explorers, and dreamers from across the lands. They came to learn, to share, and to embark on their own journeys, each one a new thread in the tapestry of the village's legacy. And so, Sebastian's story, which had begun with a simple inheritance, evolved into a lifelong quest for knowledge, adventure, and the preservation of ancient wisdom. The enchanted compass, now a symbol of his incredible journey, continued to guide him, not just on future adventures, but also in his role as a mentor and guardian of the village's burgeoning legacy. Chapter 12: The Enchanted Forest. One day, as Sebastian wandered the outskirts of the village, he discovered an ancient tree that seemed to call to him. Its gnarled trunk bore a door, not of wood, but of living bark that pulsed with a gentle rhythm. Intrigued and guided by the compass's soft glow, he pushed the door open and stepped into a realm of enchantment. The forest that unfolded before him was a tapestry of light and shadow, where flowers glowed with an inner luminescence and creatures of myth flitted through the underbrush. The air was alive with the music of nature, a symphony that echoed the magic that suffused the land. As Sebastian ventured deeper, he encountered a group of woodland sprites, their forms aglow with a soft, ethereal light. They were in distress, their expressions etched with worry. Their sacred grove, the heart of the enchanted forest, had been overtaken by a dark force, and they sought Sebastian's aid to restore the balance. The compass, now a beacon of his commitment to protect the world's magic, led him through the forest's maze of roots and vines, past the luminous flora and the whispering trees. He navigated the magical obstacles with a newfound agility, his senses attuned to the subtle signs of the forest's distress. At the heart of the grove, Sebastian found the source of the darkness, a corrupted elemental spirit, once a guardian of the forest's vitality, now twisted and malevolent. The spirit's presence was a cancer, spreading shadows and despair through the once vibrant land. Drawing upon the power of the three keys, Sebastian approached the corrupted spirit. The gemstone pulsed with a soothing light, the silver harp resonated with harmonious melodies, and the crystal shimmered with a purifying radiance. With a voice steady and clear, Sebastian called upon the spirit to remember its true nature, to let go of the darkness that had consumed it. The spirit, stirred by the key's power and Sebastian's plea, began to change. The darkness receded, replaced by a luminescence that mirrored the forest's own. The grove came alive with renewed vigor, the trees and flowers blooming with a brilliance that outshone the stars. The grateful sprites, their grove restored, presented Sebastian with a magical amulet, a token of their gratitude and a symbol of his connection to the natural world. The amulet, when worn, granted him an enhanced bond with the earth, allowing him to draw upon its strength and wisdom. As Sebastian left the enchanted forest, the compass's glow seemed to mingle with the amulet's light, a sign that his journey was far from over. The forest, now a sanctuary of light and life, stood as a testament to his commitment to protect the world's magic, and the enchanted compass, his constant companion, guided him towards the next chapter of his extraordinary journey. Chapter 13: The Desert of Time. The compass's glow beckoned Sebastian to the next leg of his journey, leading him to a vast desert where the sands whispered tales of ages long past. The Desert of Time was a realm where the very fabric of temporal reality was woven into the landscape, a place where the sun seemed to move in slow motion and shadows stretched across the dunes like elongated fingers of the past. As Sebastian ventured into the heart of the desert, he encountered a nomadic tribe known for their ancient knowledge of time manipulation. Their faces were etched with the wisdom of countless seasons, and their eyes held the secrets of the sands. They spoke of a powerful artifact, the Hourglass of Ages, which had been stolen by a rogue member of their tribe. The theft had disrupted the flow of time, causing it to ripple and bend in unpredictable ways. Sebastian was welcomed by the tribe's leader, a wise elder named Zara. Her voice carried the weight of the desert's history, and her guidance was as steady as the northern star. Together, they embarked on a quest to retrieve the stolen hourglass and restore the natural order of time. Their journey through the desert was fraught with peril. Time anomalies distorted their path, and sandstorms swirled around them, bending reality and testing their resolve. Each challenge they faced was a test of Sebastian's newfound abilities and the strength of his spirit. In the hidden oasis where the rogue had taken refuge, Sebastian and Zara engaged in a climactic confrontation. The battle was a dance of shadows and light, of moments frozen and time unraveled. Sebastian drew upon the power of his artifacts, using the gemstone to soothe the chaos, the silver harp to harmonize the discord, and the crystal to purify the corrupted essence of time. With the hourglass reclaimed, Sebastian and Zara returned it to its rightful place among the tribe. As the sands within the hourglass settled, time stabilized, and the desert breathed a collective sigh of relief. In gratitude for his bravery, Zara presented Sebastian with a shard of the hourglass. This precious fragment granted him the ability to manipulate time, to slow down the rush of moments or hasten their flow at his will. As Sebastian left the desert of time, the compass's light flickered in time with the pulsing power of the hourglass shard. He felt a profound connection to the temporal realm, a guardian of not just space but also of the continuum of time itself. The enchanted forest, the village, and the desert were now threads in the rich tapestry of his journey, each experience weaving him closer to the destiny that the compass promised. Chapter 14: The Underwater City. Sebastian's journey took a dramatic turn as the enchanted compass led him to the depths of the ocean, to a city lost to the legends of the ancient mariners. The city was said to be a marvel of underwater civilization, powered by a mystical artifact known as the Pearl of Tides. To reach this submerged metropolis, Sebastian sought out the aid of an old friend, Captain Marlowe, a seasoned sailor with a submarine at his command. Together, they embarked on a daring descent beneath the waves, a journey that took them through treacherous underwater currents and past the eerie glow of bioluminescent sea creatures. The ocean's depths were a realm of both beauty and danger, and Sebastian felt the weight of the unknown as they ventured further from the light of the surface. As they neared the sunken city, they encountered its guardians, a school of giant, intelligent sea creatures that protected the city from intruders. With the help of the Pearl of Tides, these guardians could communicate with the marine life, ensuring the city's safety and harmony with the ocean's ecosystem. Sebastian and Captain Marlowe approached with reverence, demonstrating their peaceful intentions. The sea creatures, sensing their respect for the underwater world, allowed them to pass, leading them to the entrance of the city. The sight that greeted them was breathtaking, a cityscape of towering structures, carved from coral and adorned with gemstones that shimmered with an inner light. Inside the city, they discovered a civilization that had thrived for centuries, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of the ocean. The city's ruler, a wise and benevolent leader, welcomed Sebastian and shared the story of the Pearl of Tides, which maintained the city's existence by controlling the tides and the ocean's currents. However, the city was under threat from a giant kraken, awakened by disturbances in the deep. The kraken's rampage threatened to destroy the delicate balance of the underwater world. Sebastian, with the help of the city's inhabitants and Captain Marlowe, devised a plan to pacify the kraken. They used the enchanting melodies of the silver harp to soothe the beast, while the gemstone's calming light and the crystal's purifying energy helped to calm its wrath. The battle was fierce, the ocean turning tumultuous around them, but Sebastian's strategy prevailed. The kraken, soothed by the harmonious efforts, retreated back into the depths, and the city was saved. In recognition of his bravery and the role he played in preserving their home, the city's ruler presented Sebastian with the Pearl of Tides, granting him the ability to control water and communicate with marine life. As Sebastian held the pearl, he felt a deep connection to the ocean and its inhabitants. The compass, now a symbol of his bond with the elements, glowed with pride, guiding him back to the surface, where a new chapter of his journey awaited. The enchanted compass had led him through land, air, and now sea, and Sebastian knew that no matter where his adventures took him next, he would be ready to face them with courage and wisdom. Chapter 15: The Sky Fortress. Sebastian's adventures soared to new heights as the enchanted compass guided him to the skies, where a floating fortress lay hidden among the clouds. This citadel was a bastion of knowledge, guarded by a reclusive order of scholars who tended to a powerful artifact known as the Celestial Orb. This orb had the power to manipulate the weather and control the very skies, but it had been stolen by a rogue member, causing chaos and tumultuous weather across the lands. To reach the fortress, Sebastian enlisted the help of an eccentric inventor named Amelia. She was a woman of boundless creativity and ingenuity, and she crafted a magnificent flying machine, a vessel capable of navigating the treacherous winds and navigating the path to the fortress. As they ascended in Amelia's flying machine, they encountered fierce winds and turbulent air currents that threatened to toss them from the sky. But Amelia's skill and Sebastian's resolve saw them through, their vessel cutting through the clouds with a grace that belied the danger that surrounded them. Upon reaching the Sky Fortress, they found it in a state of disarray. The rogue's theft of the Celestial Orb had left the scholars in disarray, their once serene domain now a place of chaos and discord. The scholars, recognizing the bravery and determination of Sebastian and Amelia, joined forces with them to track down the rogue and reclaim the orb. The chase led them through the turbulent skies, dodging lightning storms and aerial battles that tested the limits of their flying machine. The rogue, a former scholar who had succumbed to the power of the orb, proved to be a formidable adversary. In a climactic showdown above a storm that raged with the fury of the displaced celestial orb, Sebastian and Amelia faced the rogue. Sebastian, drawing upon the power of his artifacts and the lessons of his journey, managed to outmaneuver the rogue. Amelia, with her quick thinking and technical prowess, disabled the rogue's aerial vessel, causing it to plummet towards the safety net they had prepared. The celestial orb, freed from the rogue's grasp, was reclaimed and returned to the scholars. With the orb back in their possession, the scholars used its power to calm the skies, bringing an end to the catastrophic weather events. In gratitude for Sebastian's and Amelia's heroic efforts, the scholars rewarded Sebastian with a fragment of the celestial orb. This fragment granted him the ability to control the weather to some extent, a power he knew he would wield responsibly. As Sebastian and Amelia returned to the ground, the compass in Sebastian's hand glowed with a new light, reflecting the success of their mission. The enchanted compass had once again proven its worth, guiding Sebastian to another victory and deepening his connection with the world's elemental forces. With the sky now clear and the winds calm, Sebastian prepared for the next chapter of his journey, knowing that the compass would light his way to new adventures and challenges. Chapter 16: The Return to the Village. Sebastian's return to the hidden village was a triumphant homecoming, marked by the soft glow of the enchanted compass that had faithfully guided him through the skies and across the seas. As he approached the village, the villagers, alerted by the news of his return, lined the path to greet him, their faces alight with joy and admiration. The village had transformed in his absence, now a thriving hub of knowledge and adventure. The tales of Sebastian's exploits had spread far and wide, attracting scholars, explorers, and dreamers who sought to learn from his experiences and contribute to the village's growing wisdom. Elara, the wise elder, performed a grand ceremony to honor Sebastian's achievements, her hands weaving through the air as she invoked the blessings of the ancient spirits. The villagers gathered around, their eyes reflecting the flickering flames of the ceremonial fire, as they listened to Elara recount the story of Sebastian's journey. Sebastian shared his stories with the villagers, recounting the challenges he had faced and the lessons he had learned. He spoke of the treacherous whispering caves, the harmonious echo isle, the unforgiving frozen peaks, and the celestial sky fortress. His words painted vivid images of the battles with the corrupted elemental spirit, the rogue of the desert of time, the kraken of the underwater city, and the rogue scholar of the celestial orb. The villagers hung on his every word, their awe and respect for Sebastian deepening with each tale. They asked questions, sought advice, and discussed the implications of his discoveries for their own lives and the future of the village. Sebastian's return also marked a new phase in his role within the village. He had become not just a seasoned adventurer, but a leader and a mentor. he established a school where he taught the younger generation the skills and wisdom necessary to navigate the world's challenges. He shared his knowledge of the enchanted compass, the power of the artifacts he had collected, and the importance of preserving the balance between the natural and magical worlds. As the ceremony concluded and the villagers dispersed, Sebastian stood at the edge of the village, gazing out at the horizon. The compass in his hand pulsed gently, as if in anticipation of the next adventure. He knew that his journey was far from over, and that the village, now a beacon of hope and knowledge, would continue to thrive under his guidance and the guardianship of the enchanted compass. Chapter 17, The Legacy continues. Sebastian's commitment to the hidden village deepened as he made it his permanent home, dedicating his life to the preservation and protection of the ancient knowledge and artifacts he had encountered. The enchanted compass, now a symbol of his incredible journey, remained a constant companion, guiding him on future adventures and reminding him of the legacy he carried. As a mentor to the younger generation of villagers, Sebastian imparted the wisdom and skills he had acquired, from the art of navigating with the stars to the delicate balance of harnessing magical forces. He taught them to respect the power of the artifacts and the importance of using them for the greater good. His teachings were not just theoretical lessons but practical applications, as he led the youth through the forest, over the mountains, and across the desert, showing them how to work in harmony with nature. The village, under Sebastian's guidance, became a sanctuary for scholars and adventurers alike. They came to study the ancient texts, to learn the old magics, and to prepare for the challenges that the world might hold. Sebastian established a council of elders, drawing from the most experienced and wise members of the community, to help govern and protect the village. Sebastian also focused on strengthening the village's defenses. He worked with the village's craftsmen to enhance the protective enchantments around the village, using the knowledge he had gained from his encounters with various magical creatures and elemental forces. The village became a beacon of safety, a place where the light of knowledge burned bright against the encroaching darkness. The enchanted forest, the desert of time, the underwater city, and the sky fortress, all these places and more were now part of the village's collective consciousness, woven into its history and lore. Sebastian ensured that the stories of these places were preserved and passed down, so that future generations would understand the interconnectedness of their world and the responsibilities that came with it. As time passed, Sebastian and the villagers encountered new challenges and discovered more hidden realms. Each adventure was met with courage and wisdom, and each victory strengthened their bond and expanded their understanding of the world. The enchanted compass continued to guide them, its magic a beacon of hope and discovery. Sebastian's legacy was not just one of physical artifacts and magical powers but also of the intangible wealth of knowledge, community, and preparedness for the future. The village flourished, not only as a center of knowledge and adventure but also as a testament to the enduring spirit of exploration and the preservation of ancient wisdom. And as Sebastian looked out over the village, he knew that the legacy of great-uncle Archibald, the enchanted compass, and his own journey would live on through the generations to come. Chapter 18, A New Era of Adventures. As the sun broke over the horizon, casting its golden light upon the hidden village, Sebastian stood atop the hill, his gaze set on the distance where the sky met the earth. The village had become a sanctuary of learning and adventure, a place where the whispers of the ancients mingled with the laughter of children playing amidst the hallowed grounds. Sebastian's story had grown into a legend, inspiring countless others to seek out their own adventures and explore the mysteries of the world. The enchanted compass, a silent guardian of his journey, now served as a symbol of courage and discovery, its magic a constant reminder of the boundless potential that lay within each soul. With every dawn, the village welcomed new faces, explorers, scholars, and dreamers who came to learn from Sebastian's experiences and to share their own tales of wonder. The village had become a nexus of knowledge, a place where stories were exchanged, and wisdom was forged in the fires of shared experience. Sebastian continued to lead by example, embarking on new quests and expeditions that pushed the boundaries of known lands. Each adventure was an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to protect the delicate balance of the world. He had become a living testament to the power of curiosity and the importance of preserving the ancient wisdom that had been entrusted to him. Under his guidance, the village's younger generation flourished. They learned to navigate the complexities of the world with open hearts and minds, to respect the power of the natural and magical realms, and to carry forward the legacy of exploration and stewardship. The village itself had evolved, its infrastructure expanding to accommodate the influx of visitors and the growing needs of its residents. New schools and libraries were built, filled with scrolls, tomes, and artifacts that chronicled the history of the world and the adventures of those who dared to explore it. Sebastian also established a council of guardians, a diverse group of individuals who had proven their dedication to the village and its mission. This council worked tirelessly to ensure the village's continued prosperity and to prepare for any future threats that might arise. As the years passed, Sebastian's influence extended beyond the village, reaching into the farthest corners of the world. His teachings and the stories of his adventures inspired a new era of explorers, scholars, and leaders who sought to make the world a better place through knowledge, understanding, and cooperation. And so, as Sebastian looked out over the village, he saw not just a community but a living, breathing testament to the power of adventure and the indomitable human spirit. The enchanted compass in his hand pulsed with a light that was as bright as the first day he had inherited it, a guiding star for the adventures that were yet to come and the legacy that would continue to grow and evolve with each new dawn.